Hello and welcome back. I appreciate you coming over for another visit. If you enjoy the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Just helps me out with that algorithm thing on YouTube. Doesn't cost you anything. Today I am going to take my Phalaenopsis hieroglyphica and I am going to repot it without unpotting it. So in my previous video where we went over kind of how these summer novelty polychilous style Phalaenopsis were doing, I did talk about a tip or trick that I do to repot a orchid without taking it out of the pot to avoid damaging any roots that we might have. And she's got roots coming out the bottom. She's got this root coming here. She's not as bad as some of the other ones. And I asked the question, if anyone would like to see me do that, I would be more than happy to do this one for you guys. And Kathleen Ross, thank you so much. I will go ahead and do this specifically for you if no one else is interested. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this top bark layer off and just kind of shake it. And then I also, let me tell you the tools that I've got to use. So I've got a bamboo skewer to help loosen things. I've got my sterilized Fiskars and a pair of tweezers that have been sterilized in case I have to use them to keep from damaging any roots. Now currently she is in all moss, so theoretically it should be easy to just get this all out because the moss, I did let it kind of dry a little bit. I still squeeze the sides of the pot as you would with any other repot. And then these top layers like this that have the algae on them, I will put them in with the rest of what I plan on getting rid of. Just because any moss that is able to be reused, I will reuse it just to save some monies. And I do see a root here that we're going to have to cut off, but I'll show you that here in a minute. And I just go over the top first and just take off all of the stuff that looks bad and put it in my little discard bucket here. All right, and then I will just kind of start dumping. And I did not bring a second one, but that's okay. I have one right down here. Hold on. Let me grab this real quick. All right, I am going to get a new chair one day that doesn't talk to me when I'm moving in it. All right, so what I do is I just take and gently take out the media, whether it's bark or in this case it's moss. And any pieces that I see that just don't look right, I will put them over in this discard pile. Now I do have my moss out here just in case I need more of it. And then once it starts getting loose, I will hold her at the base and then the side of the pot to keep her from wobbling too much, especially since she's got these new root tips coming in. And then I will just continue to take the media out. Now once it gets to a certain point, because I don't want her coming out of the pot, I do set it down. I don't press on the pot. It's just kind of sitting right on the table. I'm just kind of steadying everything. Like I said, just go in and just take out what you can and be mindful of any new growths, any roots that are in there. And then just take that nice big piece out there. And now, because it's right here, I'm just going to take my tweezers and pull so that my big fat fingers don't mess up any of those roots and break any of the roots that are in there, any root tips that might be coming out. I've done this before with a really big phal that had roots just growing all over the place, but she needed her media freshened up, but not a bigger pot. And I've done that as well. It's a lot easier to do with bark because obviously with bark you can just kind of pour it out, whereas with the sphagnum, because it is a little more clingy, you do have to kind of do the extra work on it. Okay, let's see. And then I take the bamboo skewer. I've gotten everything I can with the tweezers, and I just take the bamboo skewer around the edge and then just kind of help push it out. In this case, I'm not taking all of the moss out because she's going back into a moss and small bark mixture. I just want to take the bulk of the moss out, but the bottom layer of moss I am going to leave on and then spread it throughout. And you can just, like I said, just always secure the plant to make sure that she's not wobbling all over the place. And then I did see a couple, so this root right here, let me just hold her a little bit, she is wobbling. This root right here, even though it's got that growing tip on the end, I am going to go ahead and clip it because it is dried at the base of the plant. So we'll just go in just like any other repot. Sorry about my shaky hands today. I took some medication that's making them a little shaky. Of course, I didn't eat well with them either. And then here is another one right here that when you pull back the velamen, the root itself is still viable. Can you see the greenness? Let's see if I can make it show without. So it's still a little green, so I'm going to leave it on there because that root is the one that is trying to grow out the bottom there. And then I have one more little root here I want to check. And then this one here, I'm just going to, and you do it just like you would any other repot. The roots you can get to that you can clean those up. If you can't get to them, you just have to use your own judgment as to whether or not you want to disturb it or not. But as you can see, she's still in the pot. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to spray with hydrogen peroxide 3%, only because there was some algae buildup at the top, and I don't know if any of that algae is in the moss at the bottom, but as you can see, there is some right here on the sides. So I'm going to spray that with hydrogen peroxide, and then I have a paper towel that I'm going to use to wipe that off. But I'm also spraying the entire pot, including the moss that's still at the bottom. Again, just in case there are some algae spores in there that will help kill them. Let that sit for a few moments. Drink me some coffee. And I hope everyone is having a beautiful day today. So while we're waiting for that to sizzle, I want to show you girls little leaves. So she is almost completely bloomed out. She has a total of 7 flowers that she's going to end up with. But look at the display on her. Look at that. And then she's got that one bud right there that still needs to open. But isn't that just gorgeous? And as I said in a previous video, she reminds me of the lark song, but her flowers are so much bigger. Let me just put my hand here for reference. Look how big that is. It's almost like the big white phals. Look at that. Is she not just beautiful? I just love her. And her lip and throat, that combination is just, that's what reminds me of the South Clouds. And then her blooms have that paper mache kind of look to them. And they are the what we would consider the flimsy flowers, where they're really soft and delicate. They're not waxy at all. Let me set her back. And now that I've let that sit for a minute, I'm going to take my paper towel, and again, supporting my orchid, I'm just going to go around the edge, and I'm wiping up and out, moving the paper towel as I go to make sure that I am not leaving behind any of that algae. Look at that. That is what I want to get rid of, and that is why I am kind of repotting her without unpotting her. And then all the rest of them are currently in a moss and bark chip mixture, and she was the only one left in all moss as far as I can remember from looking. So now what I'm going to do, so this root right here was trying to become an aerial root. I'm just going to gently, I say gently try and move that so that she is going to be in the pot. And then she's already in the position that she wants to be in, so I don't have to like reposition her or anything. And then just add your new media, whatever your media of choice is. In my case, like I said, I'm doing the bark and sphagnum moss. And then I'm just going to reuse the moss that I took out that doesn't have any of the algae on there. Of course, being very cautious. Let me just look through and make sure. Without the light, the algae will die off. But because I don't know if it's going to be on the top or the bottom, like see that piece right there, definitely don't want to put that back in and encourage that to grow back. And then I am gently pressing as I do it. And then once you get all of the media out, get her all cleaned up, kind of how you want her, you just, like a regular repot, you just put everything back in so that she has her little home. And I am pressing in gently not very vigorously, but just kind of gently to make sure that it does get all in the roots and helps stabilize her. They do like air around their roots, but because they also like to stay moist a little bit longer than our big girl hybrids, like Little Leaves I just showed you, we don't want to leave them too many air pockets. This way it doesn't dry out as quickly. So put a top layer of the moss to help encourage root growth there. I'll put the rest of it with bark and she will be done. So leave in the comments below some tricks that you use to kind of pot your orchids without unpotting them, to kind of help minimize the disturbance. And every time we do, you know, I mean, this right here did disturb her a little bit, but it didn't disturb her to the point where I feel like she's got to kind of get used to something again, because it is a lot of moss still in there, which she was used to. And then with the bark chips, that'll just help with that aeration, eliminate some of that buildup of that algae underneath those bright ballerina lights. And then she was already used to having the bark on the top. Let's see. Nope, she's not wobbly. She looks wobbly, but she's not. It's just because of the way the leaves are. All right, well, there it is for you, Kathleen. So let me know if you have any questions. If I didn't cover something or you didn't see something, just let me know. And anyone else who has any questions or comments, go ahead and leave that down below as well. And like I said, go ahead and give the video a like. It just helps me. It doesn't cost you anything. And with that, I hope everyone has a beautiful rest of the day.